Warm welcome to an exclusive episode of the Monday Morning Learning Podcast. And in this musical series, we have Ajnish Viswa Rai as our first guest. Sai Dham and good evening, Ajnish Bhai. How are you? And any welcome words before we begin?
Sai Dham, Ravi. It's a pleasure to be in this podcast. And of course, I'm seeing you after a very, very long time. And I hope this musical podcast will be informative as well as entertaining for the viewers.
Absolutely, Ajnish Bhai. Thank you so much. So for the viewers, Ajnish and I studied at the same timeline back in our university at Prashant in India. A quick introduction of Ajnish Bhai. He's a vocalist and musician who was born in the hills of Darjeeling, West Bengal. Ajnish started his musical journey with Hindustani classical vocal and ghazal singing. His teacher was Ustad Dayal Thakur of the Patiala Gharana in Mumbai, who is a student of Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahib. Ajnish trained with Ustad Thakur from 1996 to 2002 and continues to be his student. Now, he has released many devotional musical albums, including the Living God series, Ma Sai, O Sai Ma, Golden Days, Noor, which is Sai Ghazal, Sai Bina Raha Na Jaye, Sabka Paradvarikar, Pyare Sai Hamare, Thank You Swami, Tasveer, Yaad-e-Khuda, Satchanarayana Sai, Sacha Ek Tera Naam Sai Baba, Ramakatha, The Story of Sita, Forever in Sai, and Sai Dham. He's also released secular music albums such as Yo Man Dukcha in 1997, Anubhuti in 2000, Manastiti in 2006, Mausam in 2007, Rubaru 2015, Ma Samjhanchu 2005, Mero Behoshi 2010, and Madhosh in 2015. Now in 2000, Ajnish Bhai reached the finals of the Sarigama competition on CTV, becoming the first contestant from the Darjeeling Hills to do so. He's performed in many countries, including the UK, Wales, Mauritius, the Middle East, West Indies, Trinidad and Tobago, Curacao, Guyana, Barbados, Singapore, Thailand, South Africa, Malaysia, and the UAE. He has also performed in major Indian cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Pune, Allahabad, and Bangalore. Now, Ajnish runs a music studio called Matrix Sound Lab, where he composes, records, programs, and sound designs his music. He and his wife, Meghna Rai, also run a Hindustani vocal music school called Gurukul Sangeet Sansthan. He's also written a book titled Song of the Soul, which is an anecdotal account of his musical journey. So in short, that's the intro, Ajnish Bhai. We'll jump into the title. So there's an exclusive title for this particular podcast series, Echoes of Devotion, the Musical Soul of Ajnish Viswa Rai. So in terms of themes, there are 6 themes we'll be dealing with. The first, Roots and Resonance, the classical foundation, will explore your formative years. Then we'll move to Devotion in Sound, the spiritual journey. Innovation and Identity is the third theme. Global Footprints, Music Beyond Borders, Legacy and Transmission. And finally, I'll be waiting for this theme, the Sai connection, the voice is shaped, a journey across devotion traditions. So let's jump into the first one, Ajnish Bhai. What were the most transformative lessons you actually learned under Ustad Dayal Thakur ji, and how they continue to shape your music journey? And secondly, how does the Patiala Gharana tradition inform your approach to both devotional and secular compositions?
Well, Ravi, I met Ustad Dayal Thakur Sahab, my Guruji and my teacher in Hindustani vocal music, after I completed my MSc in Biosciences in Puttaparthi. So in fact, Swami himself guided me to this particular great noble soul, where I could learn the intricacies of Hindustani classical and learn music in the true sense, right? Very traditional sense. So under Ustad Dayal Thakur Sahab, I realized that the entire singing that I had been doing so far, as well as the musicality and my approach towards music, was kind of a little shallow and more of just to impress. And after learning Hindustani classical, I realized there is a bigger depth to Sai bhajans, to even the film songs that are composed in Bollywood. There is a greater depth which can be explored and which can be seen. The uh, learning under Ustad Ji opened a new window, a new doorway, to say, into the field of music for me, for my vision. It expanded my vision, absolutely. Taught me how to approach music.
Absolutely, absolutely, Ajnish bhai. I remember the 90s, something which we're talking about, right? 90s were the best bhajans and bhakti. Or I think you might not be knowing because you were actually sitting before Bhagwan and singing. You, Yashadviri, Ravi Kumar sir, and the like. And all of the boys seated in the mandir inside the bhajan hall. Most of the I've been sitting inside the bhajan hall. It was such a spiritual experience, Ajnish. Actually, just listening to you and the likes of you there. It was so beautiful, and I love all the bhajans that you have composed. Then we'll come to that maybe in the next section as such. But let's explore the next one. In terms of the Patiala Gharana tradition, Ajnish Bhai, how does the Gharana tradition inform your approach to both devotional and secular compositions?
Well, nowadays, the Gharana has the Gharana system that used to be prevalent in the olden times. The Gharanas are basically families, right, in the Indian subcontinent. And these families safeguarded their musical knowledge and their bandishes, their creations, and only taught to the students and their own kith and kin. But later on, as the media, the revolution came in, YouTube videos, reels, and everything, the Gharana system was kind of a little bit diluted, so to say, but it became very good for the listeners as well as for the entire Indian music as such. What happened was there was a lot of give and take between different Gharanas. Though the Gharanas like Delhi Gharana, Agra Gharana, Vishnupur Gharana, there are plenty of Gharanas, Patiala Gharana. They retain their basic nature, their kind of bandishes, the kind of music they perform. Yet they have incorporated, the singers, the musicians of a particular Gharana have incorporated musical styles and different accents from other Gharanas as well. So
Right.
this has led to a better flowering of the great big garden that is the Indian classical music.
Absolutely, Abhijit. Thank you for that. So, coming to the next theme of the spiritual journey and devotion in sound, how do you channel spiritual experiences into musical expression, especially in albums like Forever in Sai or Sai Dham? Ajnish?
We were very lucky to have been able to be a part of the ambience of spiritual ambience at Puttaparthi and the immense presence of Bhagwan himself. So what happened was we got the blessed chance to imbibe the spiritual side of music. Devotion came to us very naturally, which today I feel it's very difficult for anybody to, to bring out that kind of feeling in the modern world. It could happen only in the presence of Bhagwan himself. So, but we were, of course, blessed, and that grace is impossible to, to explain, like how we can achieve that, because it has been given. We never did anything for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And what role does surrender and bhakti play in your creative process when composing devotional music, Rajesh?
Sadhana and bhakti. See, these are the backbones of devotional music. The first is bhakti, of course, the feeling aspect, the bhava. And sadhana, a daily discipline. Sadhan means it's a means of getting somewhere, right? Sadhan. like it's the roadway, it's the path. So you need to tread that path and create a certain discipline for yourself. And that discipline also is again a part of bhakti and devotion. And if discipline, if bhakti is right, if your love for doing your music, if your love and the feeling is right, then sadhana is an effortless process.
Absolutely, absolutely well said, Ajnish bhai. Moving to the innovation and identity in bridging tradition and modernity, we'd like to understand your secular works and the fusion of classical roots with contemporary styles. So, how do you balance authenticity with experimentation in albums like Rubaru or Madhosh?
Rubaru and Madhosh were actually ghazal albums. Rubaru was a Hindi ghazal album, and Madhosh was a Nepali ghazal album. So these, of course, are rooted in tradition, but of course the arrangement, the musical, accompaniment needs to be tailored to suit the modern listener, because the modern listener has been inundated, right, with a lot of fusion stuff and a lot of guitars and pianos and drum sets, and so even the ghazal listener needs all those things.
Yeah.
Like even Jagdish Saab's ghazals, you hear drums, hi-hats and congos and thumbas going on, a lot of bass guitar. But of course, the basic, the feel and the spine of the traditional musical form needs to be there.
Sure.
So around that, you can create anything, right? As
Absolutely.
long as it is not jarring, as long as there is a certain word called bhav bhangi. The
Hmm.
bhav should not be spoilt. That's all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Moving to the international performance and the universality of musical devotion, Ajnish bhai, how have global audiences responded to your devotional music and what cultural bridges have you built through it?
Well, because my tours have been basically organized or sponsored by Sai devotees residing in different countries abroad and mostly of Indian origin. So my performances are normally very traditional rooted. And of course, I have done some English songs to uh, appease the foreigners, Spanish songs even. But I had a very funny incident in Singapore when I thought, of course, there was a certain center. I guess it's called Malmin Center in Singapore, where there are only Chinese devotees, the majority at least, 90% of them. So I thought I would stick to uh, very simple songs like Sai Mata Pita Dina Bandhu Sakha, these songs. And then I did a few English numbers which they requested, like Remember, Remember the Day, Our Lord. And they were fantastic singers themselves. Amongst them, they had an opera singer as well.
Uh,
But when there was a chance for them to sing, they sang Giridhar Nagar Kunja
uh,
Vihari. I was so shocked because the way Sai Bhajans has, you know, infused the, devotees' musicality with ragas and, even intricate ones like this one is in Megh Malhar,
whatever.
right? And to find Chinese devotees singing these bhajans was a shock to me, and I realized how great Bhagwan's music is.
Absolutely, absolutely, Atish. Thank you for sharing this experience. Uh, you did share the moment, but like, any other moments you want to share from your travels where music transcended language and cultural barriers? Anything else you want to share apart from this?
There have been, yes, plenty of experiences, and in Trinidad, in West Indies, there is a very very ardent devotee called Faiz Muhammad. And for him, he used to ask questions like, do you know about India? He used to ask me, do you know Amitabh Bhajan? For him, Amitabh Bachchan is also Bhajan. I mean, for you to get an idea of how good their Hindi is, right? So they don't know any word of Hindi. Only thing they know is Bhagavan and Sai Dham. And these people, they organized concerts throughout the West Indies. And they had tablists, they have harmonium in every center, and they could follow any bhajan. The most difficult of bhajans they could follow.
Excellent.
So
Thank you.
it is such a, how Sai bhajans has totally educated, and in fact, educated the entire Sai community with Indian ragas, with Indian musical systems, talas,
Absolutely.
and instruments.
Absolutely, Ajit bhai. Would you remember in Bhakti, I think a lot of these great singers used to actually come and perform before Bhagwan. Did you have a chance to interact with any of them when you were there at Bhakti?
Interact, I don't very well remember, but of course, I remember their concerts very well. The special ones were concerts by Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, and then Begum Parveen Sultana and Ustad Dilshad Khan Saab. I remember one of the incidents where we spent a whole evening tuning the Tanpura for Begum Parveen Sultana. We spent hours tuning it so that, and Ustadji came and he asked for the Tanpura, and he just, with one stroke, he just untuned everything and brought it back to tune within like 30 seconds, and he gave the Tanpura for us to play. So those were eye-openers, It is so effortless for those who have really reached the levels, heights of musicality. And Pandit Bhimsen Joshi used to be so lost that he used to forget Bhagwan is there.
Okay, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. I think I don't know whether you were around, but I think this was between 93, 98. We had a galaxy of these singers presenting their songs before Bhagwan in the Purnachandra Hall. I think we had Jagjit Singh, we had Pandit Jasraj ji, Bhimsen Joshi ji. Everyone actually came. I don't know, someone actually brought them together, part of some kind of program, I guess, which was happening in DD television back then. And maybe I was in the first or second year. It was fantastic. The entire afternoon and the evenings were into this musical journeys over there. Do you remember any aspect of that at all?
Yes. I remember Pandit Jasraj ji. Then during those, Jagjit Saab had also come. Jagjit Saab had come. And I remember even the Russians were performing. And I think the great tenor, his name is Pavarotti. Was it the same concert? I don't know. It was one of those concert for global unity.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to come as episodes on DD.
Yes, I was absolutely there. And I just remember how Puttaparthi used to be very, very musical those days. When Swami was physically present, there were a lot of concerts and a lot of music happening.
Absolutely. So coming to the legacy and transmission, teaching and writing aspect, Ajnish bhai, what inspired the creation of Gurukul Sangeet Sansthan, and how do you envision its role in preserving Hindustani music?
Coming back to Darjeeling after learning in Mumbai, I realized a very big vacuum in our culture about really learning music and performing music in a in a proper way. Ours is like we have a big large collection of singers and songs and music, folk songs, adhunik songs, pop songs, a lot of Western influence, but
Mm.
the classical, the roots are absent. So I realized it is time we grew those roots, you know, and tended that particular aspect of our culture. And it is only very recent that a lot of students have come up, good students, and they are really taking up learning Indian music properly. And
Sure.
so that was the reason why I actually started Gurukul Sangeet Sansthan.
Mm.
And plus, my Guruji also says that if you want to learn, you need to start teaching as well. And I have realized that in order to retain what I have learned, teaching is very essential, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Ajnish bhai. Thank you. Uh, and regarding your book, Song of the Soul, what's the kind of message do you hope readers can actually take away from your book, Song of the Soul? Can you go through a bit more in terms of why do you feel that you need to write a book and what's the exact message of it?
Song of the Soul basically contains a few anecdotes. It's about 100, page book with Swami and with Guruji and with music in general, all the experiences, because a few incidents remain in your heart, and it really strikes you hard, right? Like, for example, when Bhagwan corrected me about pronunciation and how he helped us improve our singing. Then later on, how Guruji taught us and how he, explained in certain short stories how one should do riyas and stuff like that. Then incidents with Jagjit Saab about Guru bina gyan na aaye. Like without Guru, you know, you cannot sing. That's what Jagjit Saab told me actually. He told me, तो फिर क्या गाओगे अगर गुरु के पास नहीं गया हो तो अभी तक तो क्या गाओगे? He was so like clear, like without Guru, what are you doing
Yeah.
singing? So that's what led to me ultimately to find Ustad Dayal Thakur Sahib and really study under him. Then there are like few incidents about a later phase, like arranging music, recording music, promoting. Basically, the entire book is catered to singers and upcoming musicians who
Sure.
wish to pursue singing careers.
Absolutely. Is this available in on the popular platforms like Amazon and if people want to buy the book?
I think it's in Puttaparthi, as hard copy, and I have been meaning to put it on a digital platform as well.
Sure. Oh, great. Great. All of us will buy the book without doubt, Ajnish bhai. So coming to the main theme, this is the Sai connection, the voice, the shape, a journey across devotion traditions. So we'll start uh, at the beginning. You joined Swami's Institute, and how exactly, you came to a position where you started singing. Is it that you already started singing before you joined Swami's Institute, or can you actually take us through the journey?
Yes, it was in 1989 after I finished my ICSC. That's my matriculation from here at St. Joseph's. Then I went down to Puttaparthi as a total non-devotee. I didn't know Bhagwan. I had never seen, Bhagwan, or I never traveled south of, India. But then as soon as I reached Parthi and I sat for the exams and I passed and got admitted, a certain, I guess it was already predestined by, Bhagwan that I should be there. Even though I never had any introduction to bhajans or something like that, Suprabhatam and mantras and Vedams, that these were too alien for me.
Hmm.
not to talk about the food at all. Food is something else, right? And but what caught me was the V. Kumar and S. Kumar are all singing, Sri
Yeah.
Raghavam, and in the party in the evening, that ambience, the musical ambience, and the peace.
Yes.
And I used to, I mean, love those moments, the bliss, as you were telling. And that caused me to get attracted to Bhagwan. And so one fine day, there was an audition for Kavi Sammelan. And I was singing a song in Nepali. And I had a friend called Gulshan who sang in Himachali, then one in Punjabi, one in Bengali, all different languages. And we had this Kavi Sammelan in the Institute Auditorium. This was my 11th standard, right?
Yeah.
And after I finished my song, Bhagwan told me, 2 minute में कान को ऐसा आनंद कर दिया.
अरे वाह. Ah.
So this was such an encouragement, and I fell like for it. Right? That I took that bait totally. And the later on, when Swami came to the hostel, I sang one song, Dil Jhoom Jhoom Gaye, Man Jhum Jhum Nachiya, Mere Baba Aa Jaaye. And Swami was in the jhula in the middle of the hostel, and I was singing. And then Bhagwan again asked, "Where is this boy from?" And everybody yelled, "Darjeeling, Darjeeling," karke. And the boys immediately started, pressing me to ask for permission to sing in Mandir. Now, that was the coveted, right, position,
Yes.
to be a lead bhajan singer. And the following day, literally the guys pushed me right in front of Bhagwan. Though I was a little hesitant, I asked Bhagwan, and as Bhagwan said, he said, actually, of course. And I asked Bhagwan, can I sing in Mandir? He told, of course. पहले तो बोला कहाँ से आया? Normally, Bhagwan's response is practice करो, देखना है, warden को पूछना है या music teacher को पूछना है. But for me, he gave entry very easily. So I started. That's the way I started with Bhagwan. And of course, the first bhajan I sang was Jaya Jaya Krishna. Went well. But Swami immediately, and just the next day, he called me inside and told, "You're pronouncing Krishna wrong." Because the tune goes Jaya Jaya Krishna, but Swami told, it's not Krishna, it's Krishna. So that was how he, made us strive for perfection in our pronunciation, in our sur.
Absolutely. So from 89 until what, 95 you were there?
Right. I did my 11th and 12th in higher secondary. Then I went to Whitefield, Bangalore for my BSc. Then again came back to Parthi for the first and second years.
93.
95.
93, 95. Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Who were the top singers then and who were along with you, who were composing music and part of all the musical celebrations? You can name them.
Of course, see, that was the time the V. Kumar sir and S. Kumar sir and all the Sonam sir, they all had just, left.
Yes.
So we had very big shoes to fill, right? And of course, Ravi sir was always there. He was there always. And in Vrindavan, we were the three of us, Pai, Yashab, and myself. We were the singers, okay? So, and when we came back to Parthi, we also took over basically the entire of the team, singing team. Of course, there were Prakash sir was there, Sai Surendranath sir was there, who used to play the tabla, and a few of the seniors. They were still there. But there was a huge vacuum during that time, and But we were lucky, basically, Bhagwan gave us a lot of opportunities during that time.
Absolutely. I think you're talking of the Surdas drama in terms of your first major
Mm.
opportunity to offer us here. Can you take us through that?
Surdas drama, right. Of course, I need to make mention of our respected Shailesh Srivastava sir,
Sure.
who is the genius behind most of the music in Perth,
Absolutely.
right? And when I was in 11th, he had joined after immediately finishing his MSc in physics. He came in as a physics teacher, but he was a genius in composing qawwalis and English songs. He was a great keyboard player himself, and he is the one who composed "Humko Tumse," Shailesh sir, and innumerable songs. And he also composed for this Surdas drama. And Ravi sir played Surdas's role, I think. And then I was chosen to play Tansen. And because I had an inclination towards little classical stuff, right? And Shailesh sir uh, composed a few great numbers there in Rag Darbari. And of course, my memory fails me now. Exactly,
Mm.
"Panghum lang gaye the girim," ऐसा कुछ lyrics था.
Right.
It's an
Okay.
exceptional composition, and I took around 33 takes to, finally finish the recording. We finished
Mm.
that recording at 2 o'clock in the night
Wow.
because, because that time we didn't have track system. Everybody had to
Mm.
perform at one shot, and everybody needs to be like uh, perfect.
Yeah.
So after doing it for 32 takes, we finalized that particular one. And during the process of rehearsals of this for this particular drama, Swami said, "See, Purnachandra Auditorium is very big, and you are singing as Tansen, so you need to, really lift up your hands and move about
Right.
because the rest of the kings and other actors are not seated, but Tansen is
Mm.
seated. You can't be walking and singing classical.
Right.
So since you are seated, your actions need to be very elaborate, and you need to have uh, rings on all 10 fingers so that
Okay.
people can see it in the light.
Okay.
Then I was, in a weird way, I was quite thrilled that Bhagwan might suddenly, create 10 rings for me. And then, well, what happened was Bhagwan told Warden sir, go give him 20 rupees. He'll go outside and buy those rings, those trinkets
Yeah.
from the trinket wala outside. So of course the
Mm.
following day I was back with 10 big rings, and Bhagwan
Mm.
explained how to, express through that song.
Right.
And those few incidents, beautiful incidents.
Mm.
And of course, Professor Hanumantappa came and told it was as if we were seated right in Akbar's court
Arey wah.
and, watching Tansen sing. But that
So
also,
when
of course, that created the seed for classical knowledge. Later on when I wanted to learn classical, those were the few incidents which ignited that spark.
absolutely, absolutely. So when did you get your first ring on the chain?
Um, okay, one was in Kodai, the ring for all three of us, right?
Mm.
Yeah, we were taken to Kodai. That was in 92. Yeah, 92. There was, then again, uh, Swami created a bracelet when I got the gold medal for all rounder. in my MSc first year. And in the year 2010, that was last interaction, between Swami and myself. When I had sung Sai Ke Darbar Mein Aao during an evening bhajan, and Bhagwan called me up and again asked the same question, Kahan se ho? Where are you from? And I blurted out Darjeeling. I forgot the lessons we had learned, We were supposed to say from you, Bhagwan. And in that blissful moment, I just blurted out to what I had. And Bhagwan created a necklace and he placed it around my neck. And that was it. Last time, parting gift, probably.
Absolutely. So, in terms of your singing, I think you also sing Kabir bhajans, Vaishno Devi songs, Ramkathas, Islamic qasidas, as you say. So, there's no boundary to your actually singing. It actually transcends, religion and sex as well. How exactly it came about?
See, education in Puttaparthi, basically, and the respect for all religions and all of humanity. And in Parthi, we were doing kavalis anyway. We were singing carols. We were singing all sorts of songs, right? And devotional music from different religions. We were doing that basic foundation was there itself. So for me, it was not any problem to do a Brahma Kumari bhajan or Kabir bhajan. In fact, they gave me a new palette to work on, right? To be working on Kabir Sahab's dohas, it's like seeing Bhagwan's message in new words, in more profound words than the usual words we have been hearing. To hear it in Brahma Kumari's lyrics, with their spiritual approach, with their spiritual language and literature, it gives a new light to what we have already heard from Bhagwan. And basically, the roots are the same, right? Indian classical, and just the words, the languages may differ, but the soul is absolutely the same. Even with Buddhist mantras, they feel the bhakti. That is the essence.
Absolutely. So, what are the new albums that you are working on, Ajnish Bhai? Anything that we can expect shortly?
As of now, see, currently I am handling the bhajans in West Bengal too, in our state. And by Bhagwan's grace, I have been posted as the bhajan coordinator here, state bhajan coordinator. So that has given me very less time to think about, any albums as such. Anyways, I have been doing a few songs because nowadays we don't think in terms of albums. Albums means 8 songs, 10 songs. We think in terms of singles, a single song. I have a couple of songs in line, and one of my very what do I call it? A project which is close to my heart is Sai Bandishes, Sai Classical, to present Indian classical ragas in Satya Sai, background, with Bhagwan's words and with Bhagwan. Normally in classical bandishes we have Krishna, Kanaya, Nanda, Shiva. So I want some Satya Dharma and these things also too. I've been creating a few bandishes this way in some ragas, and I'm looking for really accomplished classical presenters to do this particular project with.
Excellent. And last but not the least, I think maybe I should have started with this. How did your marriage with Meghna Rai happen? And she's also being an accomplished singer. Can you take us through that?
Okay, Meghna. Well, I met her because they are very right from childhood, they are Sai devotees and brought up in Sai culture. And I happened to meet her during one of the episodes of Sai Darshan, which we did for Nepal One channel, where we had
Okay.
Sai Bhajans, and she was the MC, the anchor for that particular host for that particular video mm, video series. It went on for a couple of years during the early 2000. I guess it was 2002 and 3. We met there. Then, of course, we met in Puttaparthi as well. And Bhagwan, in fact, in 2002, Bhagwan told me, because I had met her in Puttaparthi, Bhagwan told me indirect marriage ho gaya. Then,
अरे वाह! Is it excellent?
yeah, that was probably an indication to go ahead with the marriage. Well, since 2004, we have been married and we have been, so far handling the musical school we have here.
So are you teaching bhajans to others as well? Is it only to the Westerners, or do you also teach to Indian kids online?
Well, online it is just a vocal classical. And of course, the other side, as a seva activity, we have this bhajans and stuff like that. So this is for the general sight public. But for the Westerners, I teach normally Indian classical. And of course, I got a few courses on Udemy as well. Online courses. Yeah. For people who want to learn basic riyas and basic ragas.
Okay, okay. So because a lot of alumni questions, one of the question is if Ajnish is actually teaching, it's commercial, it's not the seva any which ways the pro bono thing is taken care of. But do you actually teach kids on the classical side from a commercial angle?
Yes, absolutely. See, that's part of my bread and butter as well, teaching profession, right? So we do online one-on-one classes for whoever wishes to learn whatever actually.
That will help. So just 5, 6 bhajans, Ajnish, and normally what happens is whenever it's been there since 90s. We used to have those cassettes come across, right? So we start with one bhajan, and that bhajan won't end there. The second, third, fourth, and the 1 hour actually passes. So like bhajans like Arij Suno Mere Param Kripalu, Anandamaya Bhagwan, Sai Tero Naam, Sai Baba Sakala Gunke Data, or Jayama Jayama, and Partishwari Jagajani, all the 90s composed bhajans. We used to just close our eyes and in tears, and end of 6 o'clock bhajans are ending. Very, very different kind of a mindset before the bhajans actually started off. So thanks a lot for your time. I think you gave a lot of insights and inputs in this particular podcast, Rajneesh. And as discussed, I think we will also put some songs of yours, integrate this before we release the episode. Any final words you want to say before we end?
Well, first of all, of course, thanks to you that you allowed me to revisit those wonderful memories again. And, always thinking of Sai and thinking of music and the Parthi bhajans always reignites the spark and the josh that brings, light into our lives. And thanks to you, Ravi, that you considered me able for doing a podcast with you. And I hope it will be acceptable and likable for all the listeners and viewers as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure and honor to have you on the podcast, Rajneesh. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Sai Dham.
Sai Dham.